Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Andrew Kavanaugh, and I want to say thank you for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Today on the channel, we're going to be reviewing a new release. This comes out on November 14th, and I actually pre-ordered this from Groove.com. That's Gruv.com. I'm pretty sure they're owned by Universal, and they had this movie on a really good deal a while back. And I had a coupon, among other things, so I pre-ordered it, and I actually got this in early. So I was able to watch this and really, take it in, and so that's why you're seeing the review of the release day here, which is great. So this movie right here is an incredible film. I actually really enjoy this movie, and as you can tell by the title below, this is Duel, Steven Spielberg's first major film. This was a TV movie and stars Dennis Weaver. I love this movie. It's a phenomenal action film, suspense film. The entire movie is basically one long car chase, if you haven't seen this. And I've always really loved this film. Spielberg really hit it right out of the gate with this movie. It is exciting, it's scary, it's intense, and it still holds up. And this came out in 1971 on television, and it still works to this day. The fact that they did everything for real and on an extremely low budget, you'd never know it seeing it. But Duel here is brand new. This is the new 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of it, and I was lucky enough to get the steel book here. So as you can see, this is the front cover, and there is the back. There's poor Dennis Weaver about to get flattened out by that tractor trailer. And inside here, there is the two discs. There is the 4K and the standard Blu-ray, and you can see there is all artwork from the film inside. So that's pretty cool. It also comes with a digital code that does redeem in 4K. And today I'm going to be talking about the picture quality, the audio quality, and the special features, because this actually does come with a good amount of special features as well. So Duel here, again, this came out on Blu-ray quite a while ago, and the Blu-ray was actually not that bad. It looked pretty great for its time. But now we have the movie in a 4K digital intermediate. It's in Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, also HDR10. And really, it's kind of wild, because to have a movie that was a TV film be remastered in 4K, they did a really good job with this. Just to jump right into the picture quality, I watched this in Dolby Vision, and the Dolby Vision on this is really, really, it's unbelievable. The movie now has taken on such a more lifelike tone. It is very, very accurate. The greens, the browns, the reds, the car that Dennis Weaver drives in this film, that car is like this orangey red color. And Spielberg mentioned that he picked this because you just can't not look at it. It just sticks out like a sore thumb among, the browns and greens of the desert highway that is being driven on throughout the entirety of the movie. And what a brilliant choice. Watching this now in 4K with the HDR and everything, it is so beautiful looking. I wouldn't call it vivid. It's not oversaturated, but there is a beauty to the landscapes of this film. That vast desert, the sands, the browns and everything are just so beautiful looking. It's just a gorgeous film to look at. And I know, this movie was made on a small budget, but boy, you could never tell. I mean, this just looks incredible. The evil truck driver, that chases poor Dennis Weaver throughout the entirety of this film, that truck looks grimier than ever now. I mean, it just looks disgusting with this new HDR. It's rusted, it's brown, it's this gross brown, nasty looking thing, and it just looks mean, man. It just looks so nasty and mean and scary, and I love that. Like, it really makes it a visceral experience. I mean, there are certain shots, there are certain close-ups of Dennis Weaver in this film where you can literally see droplets of sweat coming off his face as he's trying to get away from this lunatic in this truck. I mean, it just is really, really amazing. There are some details now that can be seen better than ever, and some of them are actually mistakes. There's one really good mistake where there's a reflection of Steven Spielberg in a phone booth, and that's pretty clear to see now. That's pretty evident. There are some other moments throughout the film where you can kind of see Spielberg kind of like hiding in the back seat of the car, and it is what it is. It's just that's the movie. But the movie does have it just has such a more lifelike tone to it. Skin tones are extremely accurate. There is grain in the picture. Again, this was shot in a very low budget in 1970, 71. So again, it is amazing that the movie looks as good as it does. There's some shots where there are transitions, and it's an optical effect that they use to create those, where they overlaid the film. It's just the way you had to do it back in the day. And those have much heavier grain in them than the rest of the film. They are very rare. It does not happen very much throughout the film. But those sequences, you'll notice a flare-up in grain versus the rest of the picture. And it is kind of something that's going to happen, sadly. But the movie as a whole, I thought it looked absolutely stupendous. It looked brighter. It looked better than it ever did before, much more lifelike than it did before. And I really, really enjoyed the look of this. I thought it was just a stupendous transfer from Universal. Really, really great job. So one thing that is really crazy about this new 4K disc is that this has a new Dolby Atmos audio track. And the fact that they were able to make what was probably originally a mono audio track into a Dolby Atmos audio track, it may be the achievement of the year. It's really impressive when that can be done well. And it works. This new Dolby Atmos track really works. I would say it's a step up from the former 5.1 that the Blu-ray had. The surrounds are used extraordinarily well. I do think it was a tad louder than the previous audio track, if my memory serves me correct. The dialogue was crystal clear. The music sounded haunting and just really great. The sound effects were a big one. The audio of the car swerving in the road, the quick pass-bys through the cameras, just that big truck, hauling right at Dennis Weaver. I mean, it really got you into it. As a whole, that Dolby Atmos works really well. Now, the overheads are not really used a whole heck of a lot, so there's an argument that it might not be the most immersive audio track, but for what it is, it's really well done. I mean, you have to understand this was a television film, and now we have it in 4K with HDR with Dolby Atmos, and it's really impressive. Now, the longer version of the film that was re-released theatrically after the success of Jaws, that is the one that I'm referring to in this review. One of the special features on the 4K disc, which I was really glad that they have, is the original TV version. It's the original TV movie version, which is, I want to say, about 20 to 30 minutes shorter. It's a different aspect ratio. It's in 1:33:1 instead of the 1:85:1, I think is the aspect ratio. Yeah, the 1:85:1 as the theatrical version is. I think the theatrical version is just a little more well-rounded, and it kind of works better as a full-blown movie. The TV movie one, though, with it being so packed, it's so concise, it's a lot more frenetic, and there's not as much of a break here and there, as they say in the action. But I thought, again, the 4K is the theatrical, and it's great. Like, it's fine, but if you really want to experience Duel in its original form, that original TV movie version is on the 4K, and it's only in HD, but chances are, on the 4K disc, you're probably going to end up seeing it upscaled to 4K. So I thought it looked really good, but again, that theatrical version, they definitely put a lot more work into it in terms of cleaning it up and making sure it looked better. So yeah, that's the preferred version I would recommend. But again, if you're a purist, the original version is on that disc. There's also a long form conversation with director Steven Spielberg where he talked about the making of the film, and that's actually really cool to see. There is a little featurette about Steven Spielberg and his beginnings, his work on television, the stuff that he did on TV before he became a film director. There's also a little featurette about Richard Matheson, who wrote the film and the original story that this movie is based on. And he wrote a lot of great stuff, did a lot of work on Star Trek and The Twilight Zone. Some very big, iconic episodes were written by that man, so really interesting stuff there. There's also a little photography and poster gallery included as well on that disc. And the Blu-ray is pretty much the same Blu-ray that we got previously. I think it's actually, the disc that's inside this is actually the one that was in the Spielberg Blu-ray box set that came out from Universal a while back. I'm pretty sure that's the disc that's in there. So as a whole, I'd say Duel here. If you're a fan of this film, this is a must-buy. This was an incredible job done by Universal. The 4K disc, again, that theatrical version looked incredible. Never seen it look that good. Very rarely do you see a TV movie get the love that Duel got on this disc. Incredible stuff. I really, really highly recommend it. The audio was phenomenal as well. It's got a ton of special features. Again, they're all mostly carryovers, but again, to have that TV version on the 4K disc as well, it's really a complete set here. And the Steelbook was kind of cool too. I love the fact that it has like a matte finish. It's not that glossy finish, so it's not going to get fingerprints and stuff all over it, which I, can appreciate. So anyway, if you want to pick up Duel in 4K, I'll leave a link in the description below. If you use that link, it goes to Amazon, and it gets me a little kickback here on the channel. I appreciate it if you use it. I also greatly appreciate if you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel below so we can keep growing here at Kavanaugh's Corner. I really, really appreciate all of you being here and coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. As always, I just want to say thank you so very much. Please stay safe and take it easy.